Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a Pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is episode 886 of the Two Dum Yinzers. I do want to say to everybody this morning or this afternoon, welcome back to the show. Glad to see everybody this morning. We got a good one for you today, guys. We're closing in on Wild Card Weekend. Kicks off tomorrow. A lot of awesome playoff football this week, guys, starting with college, which kicked off last night. We'll touch on that briefly. We'll get into the NFL, what that's looking like throughout the weekend. But I first want to say this, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they did get another win last night. They have not lost since the holiday break. The Penguins are 6-0. Most wins in the NHL since the holiday break. The Penguins on a 6-game winning streak. It's the longest since 2022 for the Pens. The guys, they win 4-1 over the Devils. They'll be back at it tomorrow as they host the Calgary Flames. That game will be 3:30 here in the Berg. Guys, get down, check out the Pens. Big game tomorrow. They're trying to keep that streak going. And again, right now, the hottest team in the NHL. Keep it going, guys. College football playoff started last night, and I got to be honest with you, I think it's going to be a fun ride. Number 10, Miami, takes on number 6, Ole Miss, to kick off the college football weekend football weekend altogether. Miami wins the game 31-27, and they do move on to the national championship, which is going to be played Monday, January 19th at 7:30 p.m. They're waiting their opponent as the number 5 Oregon Ducks and the number 1 Indiana Hoosiers face off tonight at 7:30. The winner of that game will advance to the national championship to take on Miami. It could be a 1-10 matchup, and this is what I like about the new college football tournament. I love the way that they did this bracket. I love the way they added teams. I think this is only good for college football. It can only help college football. So again, guys, tonight, Oregon versus Indiana. The winner goes on to take on Miami in the national championship next Monday. 1 week from, of course, our football game on Monday night. So a lot of good football so far, guys. I'm 1-0. I did take Miami over Ole Miss. and I'm going to see how I do this weekend. We didn't officially, we didn't have the CBS pick'ems, things like this. So just on the side, I'm keeping track of how I did with my college and keeping track how I did with my pros. 1-0 so far. Just by my luck, I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up 1-7, but we'll see. We'll see how this thing goes tonight, 7:30, and then of course the playoffs, the NFL playoffs, kick off tomorrow as the Rams take on Carolina in Carolina. That's a 4:30 start, and then also tomorrow Green Bay at Chicago. That's an 8:00 start. So finally some AFC games on Sunday. Buffalo's traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. That's a 1:00 start on Sunday. San Francisco traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. That's a 4:30 start on Sunday. And the late game is the Chargers at New England. That's an 8:00. And then, of course, we all know Monday Night Football. It's the showdown of the weekend. For us here, at least, the Steelers will be hosting the Houston Texans on Monday night on the North Shore. That's an 8:15 start. Winner goes on, loser goes home. Back to the couch with Pickens, Baltimore, and the Browns. So there you have it, guys. Everything that went on this year, all the shit that was talked, here we are. Here is the Pittsburgh Steelers looking to play a game that could possibly advance us to the next round. Well, all those other stories, they're all on the couch against George Pickens, the great offense of Dallas, this, that, Baltimore. Come on, this team was supposed to win the division. So, guys, a lot of football this weekend. I cannot wait. Again, off to a good start, 1-0. Like a maniac, I took Miami, but you know what? I did it on. I'm not an ACC guy by any means, but the guys here are such Big Ten guys with their team. So I got to do this. I got to kind of talk a little trash because again, no matter which way it slices, it's going to be an ACC versus Big Ten national championship. So I'm going to ride ACC on this, even though I hate. And I hate using the word hate, but I hate Miami. I hate the Miami Hurricanes. Always have, always will. If you like them, whatever, that's your thing. But me personally, just not a big fan. Mac, I couldn't agree more. Hell to Pitt, baby. All the way. You know what? When they finally win that one, when I'm 80 years old, it's going to be worth it because I'm going to say I stuck with this team. And that's the reason I do it, because they may win it one day in my life. So that's what we're going to roll with at this point. I do want to say good morning to everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back to the show. I do want to say thanks to Finchy. Finchy, we're going to have to donate that because, again, Finchy is not allowed to get in on the ball. I'll get to that in just a minute. Wait to throw the monkey wrench in the clockwork, Finch. But here we are, guys. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Two Dum Yinzers. I'm glad to see everybody back, getting ready to head into a big weekend. We got a lot of information to go out today. We have a scoop on the Houston Texans. We have take a little bit of a look of what they got going on, what they've done this year, and other things. So, guys, do stick around. We got a show for you today. Let me get on the board and see how everybody's doing this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Right here, Miss Pittsburgh starts off the day. And I got to be honest with you. Can we hire Miss Pittsburgh to stand on the sideline and get the guys fired up? I mean, we start the show off, and I see her first three messages, and I'm ready to run through a wall. I would like to see Miss Pittsburgh down on the sideline, getting the guys fired up and just giving that life that she brings to the Terrible Board. Good morning, good afternoon to you, Miss Pittsburgh. Always great seeing you on the Terrible Board. Welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Miss Pittsburgh says this. She says, here we go. Follows that up with let's go Steeler Nation. Follows that up with good afternoon, everyone. Here we go, Steeler Nation. And finally, let's go Steeler Nation, rise up. Can we pay Miss Pittsburgh to do that, please? Somebody? Sometimes you see a lifeless sideline. You think, man, you just get one person down there to get everybody fired up. They can turn things around. Good morning to you, Miss Pittsburgh. Great seeing you. Richard, my man, great seeing the great Richard Jankowski on the Terrible Board, my friend. I hope you're ready for AFC Wildcard Weekend. Nice to see you, my man. I hope everything is well with you. Yinzer Joe, what's up, Steeler fam? My man's Yinzer Joe in the house today. We got a bunch of big names today on the Terrible Board. Looks like it's going to be a big day. Welcome, Joe. Tortilla says, who you guys think there will ever be a WNFL? That's an interesting question, Tortilla. Because I would like it. I would dig it. I think it would do. Well, they have these lingerie leagues. Okay, for starters, we do have a Pittsburgh football team here, a female football team, and I follow them heavily. I love the passion, and we have some of the girls on the show, the ladies, if you will. I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, Chavez, the MVP, was just on earlier this year with us, the quarterback. But if there is a women's NFL, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if it would do well because, again, just I think it could do well. I think it would do a lot better with being lingerie football, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Guys would be more willing to watch the women play football in less clothing. Is that chauvinistic? Yes. Is it wrong? Yes. But is it true? Absolutely true. I would take either one. Again, with our WFA team here, the Passion, I'm greatly into them, and I do follow them and support them. But again, I think football would be good for women. I really do. Again, I think they are getting more involved. You're seeing it on a high school level with flag football and things like this. So who knows? Maybe we will see it one day. And that would be awesome. I would be for it, all for it. Yo, what's up, Ryan? What's up, R Mac, my man? Great seeing you on the terrible board today. Hope you're ready for the big wild card weekend. Tyrone, always great seeing you, brother. Hope everything's going well for you. Andrew Joe says, if there ever is a WNFL, it'll run like the WNBA. That's kind of what I'm thinking, and unfortunately, that's what I'm thinking. Not because I'm a chauvinist pig. I guess I can be sometimes, but at the end of the day, I just think that that's what will turn out. Unfortunately, I just do. Here's the thing: the NBA, the guys are so talented. So you're used to seeing top talented, the highest talented athletes in the country jumping over the backboard for crime. These guys are amazing. They're almost unhuman. And when you go to the WNBA, yes, it's competitive, but again, you're kind of already. It kind of takes you back a sense in the skills, and I think that turns people away. I don't know. Again, I would be there for it. I would like to watch it. I would support it. But again, just kind of seeing the way the WNBA plays out and a few other things, I'm just not sure. But if they bring it, I'm there for it. My man, my dog, what's up, Tyrone? Always great seeing you, dude. Armac, Tyrone, good to hear from you. It's been a while. Also, Tortilla 2, Armac says, Tyrone says, yeah, Tortilla also says WNFL would do way better than the WNBA. It'll be similar, but these bitches will have CT. Yeah, do we need more women out there with head problems? Come on. Steeler Freak says, I can see a female field goal kicker suing the NFL for playing rights, or a woman who IDs as a man thus should be able to play. It's America, right? Anything is possible. Tortilla, was that Ryan Mac? Armac, Tyrone, I'm ready for no. Armac says H2P, held a pit, baby. That's right. Finch says, I'm ready for, or I'm sorry, Tyrone says, I'm ready for Monday. Tortilla says, my balls, Finch. Mark Malone, I always hated Miami too. What is it about the U? What is it about the U? Is it the Ray Lewis's? Is it the Michael Irvings? What is it? Just something very unlikable about that college. If you don't love him, you hate him. Armac said this: Pitt had a chance to at least make the playoffs. Hopefully, Mason, the quarterback, improves it his offseason. You know what? He's really good. I think that the problem with Pitt, I think, is their coach. I really do. I'm not going to go on and on about Pat Narduzzi and the Pitt Panthers today, of course, because this is an NFL weekend. But I got to be honest with you, he's doing something. He kind of falls in the category of Mike Tomlin for me. He'll get you enough wins. He'll win a lot of games, but he just don't ever win that big game. Never, ever. Do I see Pat Narduzzi winning big games? It doesn't happen. Very similar to what we have going on with our pro team right now. Unfortunately, but I think we have a good team. We have a few guys leaving in the transfer portal. We have a few guys coming back or coming here. But one thing is for certain, Mason Heinzel will be back at quarterback, and it should make it for an interesting ride. I think if he would have been starting all season, we may have won those first two games we lost, and it might have ended out a little different for us, but he did not. Finchy says, suck it. Gang, Tyrone, everybody this morning. Miss Pittsburgh says, yes, sir, I'm ready. Here we go. That's right. Here we go, Miss Pittsburgh. Armac says, this Tyrone is a great hit. I agree. Let's get Tyrone and Miss Pittsburgh and get them megaphones and send them down to the stadium Monday. Let's do this. Can we make this happen? Armac says Pittsburgh needs an NBA team. And that's a problem, too. That comes down to the entertainment dollars. We kind of went over this on the show before. It's hard to have 4 professional teams in your city. And considering we are one of the smaller big cities, it's almost impossible to carry 4 professional grade teams like that. But a lot of people would like it. I know a lot of people over the years have said, I wish we'd had an NBA team here in Pittsburgh. And again, I just don't know if we could carry it with the population and the median salary and all this kind of stuff. So a lot goes into that for sure. I know it's certainly been talked about over the years. We've had CBA, ABA, we had all these other teams over time. But again, it would be difficult to carry those salaries of those players from a city that, again, it's going to be hard to carry for 4 pro teams. That's a tough thing to do. You got to be a big city with a lot of people. And again, we are on the smaller end of the big cities. Tortilla says seeing a Tortilla shoot the A gap would be sick. Also, Tortilla says Pittsburgh basketball will be called the Pittsburgh Peacocks. The Peacocks. Why not be the Peacocks, right? Everything always seems to be P and P is our names here, except for the Steelers, the Panthers, the Pittsburgh Passion, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Of course, the Peacocks would fit perfectly right in there. Let's go on. Steeler Freak, every year, German male teenager soccer players aged 13 to 15 beat the female Olympics team. Yeah, I don't know, man. Crazy shit going on out there. Tortilla, the women's team could probably run for 100 yards on our defense. Yinzer Joe, there are just some things that men and women should have separately. Women should have maxi pads. Men should have condoms. You can't have the same thing for both when competition is physically different. I agree. And come on, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that one is better. I'm just saying that they're different. And I think that we should be able to all acknowledge that, right? Tortilla says male cheerleaders equal female left tackles. You know what? Hopefully we don't need that, guys, as we move forward. It looks like Dylan Cook is doing pretty well protecting the backside of the quarterback, but that is going to have to carry over big time this weekend, guys, as we're going to be facing off against pretty damn good defense. We're going to get into what they did this year and a lot more. I do want to say, everybody, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. California, Japan, Wisconsin, right here in the Berg. Welcome, everybody. Before we do get started, I have a big announcement. That's right, a big announcement right here on the show. You're only going to hear it today. You'll hear it here today, and you'll hear it again on Monday. But us here at the Two Dum Yinzers, we got the invite from the guys, the people at Duquesne Pilsner, to attend their tailgate at the stadium on Monday night. So if you are down at the stadium and heading to the game, come down and see the Two Dum Yinzers. We'll be hanging out with the Duquesne Pilsner group, doing the pregame tailgating thing with them in the parking lot, guys. So we don't know a time exactly. We don't know exact locations, gates, anything like this yet, but I will certainly get that information out on Monday. So we do have a big day Monday, guys. We will be down at the stadium tailgating, if you will. Get down, especially if you're coming down, even if you're not going to the game, swing down and hang out with us. We'll have some beers together. We'll drink some Duquesne Pilsner and all kind of fun Two Dum Yinzer things we will be doing. So again, we will keep you updated on that, guys. Monday, I should have more information for you as we get things ironed out over the weekend. With that being said, I am going to say one more thing. We are going to get rolling. If you want to grab my balls, that's right. You could grab my balls right here today or Monday. We're going to extend it all the way till Monday, halfway through the show. That's right. The Grab My Balls playoff giveaway. This awesome football behind me with the autographs of the defensive captain, Cam Hayward, the wide receiver, great Antonio Brown, Charlie Batch from right here in Steel Valley, David DeCastro, the big offensive lineman, Cortez Allen, Derek Moy from right here in Rochester, and then also Ross Patrone. Their autographs from this football. I want to give it away to you, somebody that is here with us supporting the show, somebody that that maybe we've seen all year, and even if it's a newer person. I want to give this ball away. It's what I'm going to do. We've decided on it, guys. So all you got to do sometime today on the show or Monday in the first hour, we're going to extend it to the end of the first hour on Monday, guys. So if you do hit that button below, it has a money signal on it, a symbol on it. It is the super chat. Just click on that. It only takes $1. That's all to get you entered, guys. You can enter as many times as you want, but $1 is one entry. So enter as many times as you want. I do want to say good luck to everybody. So there you go, guys. Let's get into it. A lot of things to get into today as we head into Wild Card Weekend. As I said, college wrapped up their first game last night. The Penguins looking good as they do head into the weekend. But the thing that we're all here for, and I think that we're all interested in, myself included, guys, is that Pittsburgh Steeler game on Monday night football. They couldn't listen. Excuse me. Just last year. Was it last year or the year before? They gave us 3 football games in like 11 days to play. I think that was last year. Well, this year we complained, we bitched, we moaned and everything. How are you going to give us 3 games to end out of a season in 11 days? Well, guys, they gave us back because you know what? There's no better situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers than have a Monday night football home game. They brought it back to us in our favor. So we could stop bitching about last year, start getting excited about this year, and know that Mike Tomlin has never lost on Monday Night Football at home, ever. He's been here for almost 20 seasons. It's pretty impressive, guys. That and a lot more numbers today. Let me keep up on the board, though. First, I am going to go right here to Cody. What's up, Cody? Always great seeing the Code Man on the terrible board. He says condoms are for sailors. Somber says, hell yeah, get shit-faced, man. It's gonna be a big time. I hope some people can make it down. Again, if you hear this, and we'll talk about it again more in detail on Monday. Get down to the stadium. We'll have some beers together and get ready for the big game on Monday night. Tortilla says, if you can't grab Ryan's balls, grab a Duke. Hey, guy, listen, it's going to be Monday. I'll be down there. You could grab both if you want. You could grab both. It's gonna be going down. That's right, baby. Cody said, I'm sorry, Mark Malone. What's up, bro? Always great seeing Mark Malone. Christ, I hope you're not taking Derpy. I hope we're not as well. It's not in my plans, but it's not my plans. I'll just put it to you that way, Mark. Cody says, I like the thought of a surprise. I like the thought of surprise. Also, big Steeler Freak says, big announcement. Derpy's nipple hair will be transplanted on Mike's head live on the show if the Steelers win. I love this. This is why you're the most amazing people ever. It really is. Come on. Derpy's nipple hair, Nerpy's dipple hair transplanted on Mike's head. That's freaking brilliant. Steeler Freak. Somber says, this Indiana versus... And there it is, right across the bottom of the screen. Mike finds it amusing as well. Big announcement. Nerpy's dipple hair will be transplanted on Mike's head live on the show. If the Steelers win, we'll be doing that live Tuesday. Right here. Don't miss it. Indiana versus Oregon 2.0. Who wins this game tonight, guys? I like Indiana. I like Indiana. And if Indiana wins, I think Indiana wins it all. If Oregon wins, I think Miami win. That's just where I'm at. That's how I'm picking it. That's how I'm playing it out. But again, guys, that continues tonight. We'll know that by the end of the night. Somber says Nerpy's dipple hair. There you go, guys. Let's get into some stuff. It is time. It is time. It is time. This is how things look. Big Ben, I just want to say this right off the top. If anybody follows the Manning casts that go on Monday Night Football, Big Ben will be joining the Manning casts. So again, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the Manning casts, but if you were watching the game and you do want to switch over to watch them guys, Big Ben will be over there on Monday night during the Manning cast for the Monday Night Football game. So again, just another thing for the Steelers fans to get excited about on Monday night as we try to win our first playoff game since 2017. Guys, that's right. It's 2026. You heard me right. Since 2017, the Steelers trying to get that most elusive. It's not the one for the thumb anymore. It's just one. Can we win one? One would be good. And real quick before I start, what's a successful season, you guys, on the board? And everybody at home, what's going to be a successful season to you? Is it going to be getting a win? Have we already been successful? We finished 10-7. We made the playoffs. I know that nobody's going to like that. Is one win a success? Is making an interesting game in a second round, possibly after a first round win, and not getting blown out, is that a success? Is getting to the AFC Championship a success? What do you guys think is success going all the way? Of course, these are all successful situations, but what do we think as Steeler Nation? What is a successful season for the Steelers this year? What's acceptable for you as your team goes back out on that field on Monday night to play this possibly last game of the season, guys? Any way you slice it, I don't want to say that, and I don't mean it. I don't feel that way, but it's very possible. What do you guys on the terrible board think that is a successful season for the Steelers? What would you be satisfied? What would you be content with when it's all said and done? I want to know your opinions, guys. Somewhere on the board is saying a playoff win would be a successful season. Armac is saying that the Steelers have the momentum. He follows it up by saying DK will be a massive boost for us. I couldn't agree more. Somber says let's just start with a playoff game. It's been too long. We won't overthink this. Don't go too far into it. Just get this game, get a win under our belt, and we'll go from there. Maybe we'll base next round off of what we see on Monday. Mark Malone says we have to at least win one. Because if we don't, it's going to be 2027 next time the NFL playoffs come around. And we haven't won one since 2017. So just, again, something to keep in mind, guys. This could be a big one. This could be really big for the Pittsburgh Steelers and just everything moving forward for us, guys. Let me get back on the board here. I'm seeing new names pop in. I'm going to go right here to Tortilla. Wild card win is a step in the right direction. We got that. Tyrone says last DK playoff game, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. I do want to say, albeit he is a Texans fan, I do want to say welcome to Juan Muniz on the terrible board. Juan says, let's go Texans. Smear the steer. That is the theme of the week here in Pittsburgh. Smear the steer. Welcome to the show, Juan. Bingo, what's up, dude? Welcome. Always great seeing you on the board. Welcome. Armax says this is a season of success and will continue to be into the playoffs. Armax says, shaking my head as Steeler fan. You know what, guys? It always we tend to get lucky, or we tend to get good luck whenever we get some of these opposing fans that pop in on us. So you know what? We'll see how it goes. There's one, everybody. Let's go right here. Tyrone Somber says this. Which one is the Texans fan? Like it. Which one is the Texans fan? Tyrone says Somber. You hear any injuries for the Texans, guys? I do have injuries right here in front of me. Just give me one moment to bust into it, and I'll be able to give you what their latest injury report looked like as of yesterday. There are a few on there I did see. I didn't look at it in great detail, but this is what I did see. For the Houston Texans yesterday at practice, these were the people that were. They did not participate. Jawar Jordan, the running back with an ankle, was out. Titus Howard with an ankle, the offensive tackle, was out. Danico Autry, the defensive lineman with a knee, was out. Kamari Lassiter with an ankle knee, the cornerback, he was out. Limited. Then, like I said, this is the latest that I seen. This was as the late one yesterday. And then limited offensive tackle Trent Brown with an ankle knee was limited. Defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins with an elbow is limited. Linebacker Jamil Hill with a calf limited. Jalen Reed with his forearm designated to return. He was limited. Derek Stingley Jr. with his own oblique. He was limited to practice yesterday. Back to full practice was Ersley on the offensive line with his thumb. And Johnny Carter, the cornerback with a hammy, he was back to full practice. And finally, the long snapper, Austin Brinkman, with his knee, he was back to full practice. For the Houston Texans yesterday, they're relatively healthy, just as we are, guys. It's there's really going to be no excuses for either team. It's go out there, play football, and see if you can win this one. We're going to do some of the things that we do on Friday, we're going to do Monday, but there are going to be some things that we're going to do today, guys. We're going to get into some pretty big points and things that need to be done, keys for the Steelers to win this football game on Monday. And there's a lot of them. I'm going to be honest with you. It's the playoffs. You got to step it up. It's a go time. It's no more pissing around. And no. This if you ain't ready and you don't bring it, you go to the couch. That's just the way it is, guys. This is the 14 best teams in the NFL in a tournament. In a tournament to see who's the best. So again, it all starts tomorrow, guys. Again, with these games on Saturday, Steelers back at it on Monday. Steeler Freak says this. He says this. My issue is that the team that has success this year won't be the same next year. Thus, no real ascension. They need new coaching staff and franchise quarterback back to be on a true. And I think most people agree. I think most people are getting to that point where they agree, John, because a lot of people are starting to see it, and they're zooming out, and they're seeing the big picture, and they're saying this team hasn't won a playoff game since 2017, and again, next time we'll get an opportunity. If we get bounced, it's going to be 2027. That's unacceptable, not only for a football team in the NFL, in my opinion, but for a Steeler team, I think that is super unacceptable just by the standard that we generally try to keep in Pittsburgh. So again, next week's show could be entirely different. I hope not. I hope we're getting ready for Denver or whoever it may be, which is it's a possibility. But again, at the end of the day, we're going to be getting all that stuff, John. And the thing is, we know it's coming. It's inevitable, unless the Steelers win the Super Bowl. So that's why I'm trying not to get too carried away into that just yet. And that's why I'm trying to keep, I'm trying to enjoy this a little bit because, again, it's hard to win a Super Bowl. Most teams don't. One team gets it out of 32 every single year. So, again, the further we could go, fantastic and awesome. And we're going to hope to go all the way, obviously. But at the end of the day, we will be having the conversation moving forward, guys, about all those things, coaching situations, the franchise quarterback situation. A lot of stuff might be looking to change depending on how things look here over the next few weeks, up to just a few days from now. So again, I don't want to jinx them, but I'm just saying it's possible, guys. Let's see. Mary Garcia. I do want to say welcome to Mary. Mary says we can do this. Go Texans. There we go. Some more Texans, some more steer on the terrible board today. Glad to have you. Also, let me get back to right here. Tortilla says we'll worry about next year. Next year, that's right. We'll worry about that after the fact. We got a big game coming up. And John, a lot of people agree with you. I think just at this point, they don't really want to talk about it. And maybe that's a fault of ours. Maybe we should be, but it's going to be the conversation at some point, unless we win a Super Bowl. So that's kind of where I'm at with the whole thing, man. You know that. Mark Malone says no doubt. Also, Mark Malone says got to win now. Tortilla, hella cap room, hella picks. We'll be fine next year. Again, we are coming in with 12 draft picks for the draft here in Pittsburgh. Come April. We're down to roughly about 190 days, maybe 180 something by now, until the draft right here in Pittsburgh. Somber says you can't tell on film whether it's tipped or whether it's just a shag kick, but at the end of the day, whether it's a block or not, it's on me, and I got to put it in. We'll move past it. And you know what a difficult play. It's hard to really tell if that ball was tipped or not, but they say it is. So at the end of the day, we won. Somber says Boswell from this morning. Okay, so that was from Gotcha. That was from Boz this morning. Thank you for that. Little Tater Tard's back. Welcome, Tater Tard. Always great to see you on the terrible board for some reason. RMAX says this. I totally disagree. This season will have an effect on all the upcoming class and current non-veteran players. That's good point. Respectfully, he says. Yinzer Joe says it was definitely reported that Boswell's extra point was. And you're right. That's what they said. I still believe in the serial killer. And I think there's no reason not to. And the guy's been so clutch all the way up until this point. It's hard to not believe that he, come on, the guy missed a field goal. And it was an extra point. You don't want to see that, but at the end of the day, he is human. So let's hope that he gets back to being the boss that we all know and love. Tyrone, JPJ is the best in the league. Just wanted to say that they're putting him out there. JPJ is getting what's his name? I'm off the top of my tongue. Collins. Nico Collins will be JPJ's man on Sunday or Monday night, so that's going to be. We're going to learn about a little bit about JPJ. We know a lot about him. He's been here a few seasons. We've seen his ups, we've seen his downs, we've seen his faults, we've seen his improvements, if you will. But we'll see on Monday. It will be a true matchup. So let's have a big night, JPJ. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Wait, always great to see. That's Miss Pittsburgh. I think I came forward a little too much right here. Tyrone said, okay, got that. Just wanted to say that. Joey Porter Jr., TCO G69. What's up, Great afternoon, afternoon, everybody. Great to see you. TCO G69. Glad to have you on the terrible board. Tortilla says, Boz won't miss another kick this year. Also, don't drink that. That is Corey. What's up, Corey? Corey says this. The goal is to win a Super Bowl. We're in prime position to do that. People wanting us to lose to get a quarterback to win a Super Bowl is retarded. Tyrone says, Somber, that video sent was cold as fuck, for real. Also, Ms. Pittsburgh says, in Boz we trust. And finally, TCO G69 says, I'm shocked that there are 8 openings. You know what? And it's going to grow. Well, a lot of these teams are. I mean, a lot of these coaches that have their teams in the playoffs right now, they are moving in the right direction. They do have their guy, but I wouldn't see that. I'm surprised to see that number pop up to 10 when this is all said and done. That's a lot, guys. 8 out of 32 right now. 8, 16, 30. That's 1/4 of all the coaches in the league. The openings are up for 1/4, 25%, one out of every 4. So we'll see how that plays out, guys, as the playoffs continue along. Somber says, JPJ video at Tyrone. Hey, Lindsay, great to see you on the terrible board. Hope you're having a good weekend. Hope you're ready for some playoff football. College started last night, got more college tonight, heading into the pros all the way through Monday. If you love football, you love playoff football, it don't get much better than this, guys. Miss Pittsburgh said they were firing coaches left and right. So far, I've seen 9 coaches. 9, is it 8 or 9? One of those two. It's getting up there. So again, if it hits 10, I would not be surprised. It seems to be the theme of this year. Just putting that out there. Somber says this, not to mention GM and assistant openings. Also, Tortilla Raiders are paying like $50 million to fired coaches. Shitty franchises always do shitty things, man. It never changes. It never changes. There's just some teams, there's some franchises that are good. There's some franchises that aren't good. And the Las Vegas Raiders certainly are somebody that hasn't gotten it done for a long time. So I leave it up to you to put them in a category whichever way you like. Big Slim 20s, what up, what up, what up? Great seeing you on a terrible board. He says, here we go, Steeler family. Hope everyone is doing well on this beautiful Friday. That's right, my man. It is a beautiful Friday, and we are heading into wild card weekend here in the NFL. This is what you play for all year. This is what you prepare for all offseason. This is what we talked about all season long getting to. This is it right here. We're here. So if you don't get excited about this, I don't know what to say. If you can't get excited, I just can't help you guys. This is it. This is what we waited for. This is what we played and hoped and took our heart burn, whatever kind of medicine we had to take for the Steelers every week for was this right here. So guys, come on, we're here. Let's watch this play out over the weekend. See how these other teams do. But Monday it's on like Donkey Kong, man. It is on Monday night, where Mike Tomlin has never lost at home on Monday night in his 19-year tenure here. Is encouraging news, but that game is between us and the 12-5 Houston Texans coming to town. They're coming through, and what are they? The 5 seed? They are the 5 seed. As the 5 seed, we are the 4. 8:15 Monday night right here on the North Shore, guys. The Steelers are 3.5-point home dogs, but again, I think the Steelers like that, and I think the Steelers stay underdogs. It just works out better that way. Going back to my point about Pitt early in the year, you give these guys a big game. For whatever reason, they just don't win it. They could, I don't know. I think the coaches are very similar for those two teams. I'm just going to leave it at that. TCO G69 also says this: if by chance the Steelers are done with Mike Tomlin, who would be willing to fill? Yeah, you know what? And this isn't as much of a concern to me as I thought it was going to be. There's a handful of people, guys, out there. There's some names that's been thrown around. And Chris Shula, the grandson of Dan Shula, who's the Shula back, the great Shula, the Miami Dolphins coach. Well, his grandson is a defensive coordinator for the Rams, and he's a name that a lot of people are saying that he could be a nice fit for the Steelers. There's a handful of guys. I'm hearing Brian Flores is getting a lot of attention from Baltimore, so there's a name that people had brought up and it surfaced over the past. Maybe Brian Flores, he was here in the system before, but he's in communications with Baltimore. Who knows what's going to happen beyond there? Don Shula, yes, thank you, TC. But again, he's a name that certainly keeps surfacing. There's a few names that keep surfacing. Somber, Bingo, and TC. Yes, it is Dawn. Thank you. It was a brain fart. It was a brain shart, if you will. Sounds right, Somber says. But there's a handful of names. He caught my attention. I'm not saying he's the best candidate. I'm not even saying that I'm just saying, again, you know me. I like a good bloodline. I just do. You get winners. A lot of times you get winners. That's why Deion Sanders, I think, will be successful when it's all said and done. Shador Sanders. It's hard, but it's not 100% proof. Of course, look at Randy Moss's kids. They're about as good as I am. But again, there's a handful of names. I know Brian Flores is talking to Baltimore. I don't know what's going to happen, but there's about 6 or 7 guys that, again, and some people might say this. They're going to be like, well, what's going to be that we can't get our 500 record. At least we know we have that, and we could try to build and get in the playoffs. Well, you know what, guys? It could be totally different, and we could go to winning 13 games a season, 14 games a season. Look at all those teams around the league that are in the playoffs. Newer coaches, franchise quarterbacks. Look around the playoff bracket. Please pick a team. Pick a team, any team. So many of those teams that are in the playoffs and had successful seasons, they're young franchise quarterback and a newer coach. Even the Broncos, Peyton isn't young. He isn't new, but he is yes, don't drink to like the Rothschilds, like a good bloodline. I forget where I was going with that, but I think you get the point of what I was saying. Tortilla says it'll probably be some young guy who no one knows. Doubt we go after a big name coach, coordinator, or coach for the next head coach. That's what it was with these head coaches. So again, it's hard to say. Again, I totally forgot where I was going with this. So I'm going to continue on. There's always someone. Steeler Freak says there is always someone. And again, that's what I was saying. Jay Payton. He's not new. He's not young. He's been there for a couple seasons, but he's a relatively new coach out in Denver. Guys, all these teams that look good in the playoffs, young franchise quarterbacks, newer coaches, younger coaches, guys that are innovative, guys that are willing to change, have ideas, things that we're kind of getting stale. is what they're bringing to the table. So let's just say you might not have ever heard of this guy. That doesn't mean he can't come in and be successful and maybe have more wins a season, get playoff wins, unlike we've been able to do over the past almost a decade. Again, that may change Monday, and that's why we are all excited, and that's why we're all here. So let's hope that does change. But again, I think there's a handful of guys out there. There really are. I know Derpy, he's sure on this. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? If Tomlin leaves, what are we going to do? Bro, we choke every year. I hope we don't choke. I hope we don't choke. That is, when Derpy says things like this, he says, what are we going to do? Hopefully not choke. Because, again, this is the longest period of time any Pittsburgh Steelers team had went without winning a playoff game in the Super Bowl era. By far now. It's not only just a year now. It's and also, one more thing about Coach T, just one loss away from tying Marvin Lewis for most one and dones in the playoffs. Marvin Lewis is the worst. Mike T is just one loss away from tying Marvin Lewis for one and dones in the playoffs. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Let me get back on the board right here. Or over here. Right there. Steeler Freak says, Dawn, hey, Spice Creations. It's always great seeing Spice. Haven't seen you for a while. I'm not saying that you're not here, but I haven't seen you. Nice seeing Spice Creations. She says Tomlin isn't going anywhere. So I don't think until he gets that one more win, he's not leaving Pittsburgh tied with Chuck Noll. I'm telling you that. There's no way in hell the team or he would agree on that. Let's say the Steelers lose tomorrow or Monday, he'll be tied. No, there's no way he'll be gone next season. Whatever we feel may happen, win, lose, or draw, it's probably not going to happen because, again, he's tied with Chuck Noll again. If he goes out with the loss, he's in the team is not going to let that man walk away from this city without getting that record. I'm just saying it would be weird. It would be weird. And again, I don't expect to see it. So do what you want. I could be wrong. Somber says this. I'm curious to see what happens with Shador. Rumors are that they're the Browns still in the quarterback market. I don't want him here. Just hate to see him go through that. Seems like a good kid. I think he's going to be all right eventually. I know Cleveland F's everything up. I don't know if it's going to be in Cleveland where he's all right. I mean, Cleveland has a knack of effing everything up. So to think that he's going to be okay there, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Tortilla says this. I think whoever we get after Tomlin will be good. I don't know when it will be, but we haven't missed yet. We haven't. So far, so good. Somber says maybe the Tater Tard knows. Maybe. I'm not sure Tater Tard knows much of anything, but perhaps. Yinzer Joe says when have the Texans won never. They never did. They never won an away playoff game. You're right. So, again, if you look at history, it's on our side. Coach Tomlin's teams never lost a home Monday Night Football game. The Texans never never won a away playoff game, guys. So again, go by history, but going by history doesn't always mean guarantee. So those are very interesting things. Good things going in our favor. Let's go on. Spice Creation says none of them won a Super. I think they did. I think Jay Payton won one with the Saints. I think. Well, and again, these guys are only 1 or 2 years into the league, so you're right. Most of them haven't won Super Bowls, but they're turning their teams around. I gave the numbers a few weeks ago. What did Jacksonville have? 3 wins last year? 4 wins? They're the number 3 seed. Denver has certainly improved over the past couple of years. What Jim Harbaugh is able to do with the Chargers has certainly been an improvement the whole way down the list. So these younger coaches and their franchise quarterbacks are certainly turning these teams around, teams that are never good. Look what's going on in Chicago. Brand new coach, young franchise quarterback. Chicago is never good. Look through the teams. It's the common trend. Again, do we want to stay stale and fall behind everybody? Let's just stick with it and continue to do what we're doing. But again, let's not get into that conversation yet. It's too premature. We have a football game on Monday to win, and if we win this game, this is not going to be a conversation for quite some time. And I hope that it's not. So let's get this game, guys. Get to this game. Tortilla says they won a few with Diddy Watson, right? Also, Spice Creation, always great to see you, Spice. Always, truly is. She brings it. There's no two ways about it. Spice definitely brings it on the terrible board, and we love that. TCOG69 says it could be worse. At least we're not in the Bronx, right? Exactly. And you know what? Even their coach won Coach of the Year awards. Why has Tomlin never won a Coach of the Year award? Why is 20 years? The Browns coach did. Anyway, again, that's you guys are getting me sidetracked. I don't want to do that. I don't want to think about those kind of things right now. Let's see. Yinzer Joe, the Texans did not, they did win playoff. Let me see. It's scooting down on me right here. All right, here we go. Yinzer Joe, the Texans did win with Watson, but not in a away playoff game. That's right. They had a nice little team there for a while, guys. They were winning football games, and then they kind of started trading everyone off. I don't know why they did it, but Houston, they were putting it together for a while. We'll see if that's still going on now. TCOG969 says Deion's fame made it hard. Absolutely. His fame made it 100% hard on Deion. Absolutely. If he wasn't Deion's son and he didn't have a throne of his own at the draft, Shedeur Sanders' path would have been a lot different. I mean, there's people that they sacrifice their whole lives, and this guy got a throne on the stage for the draft. These are the things that, come on, it's no surprise, it's no secret. They wanted to humble this kid. Nobody drafted him for round after round after. He was predicted to be one of the top 5 players in the draft. It was all that stuff. Come on, who are we fooling? Mark Malone, have the Rooney secured Father Maxwell? I don't know. I heard they're filling the fire trucks up with holy water. To be honest with you, and they're backing them into the stadium as we speak, and they're just letting the hoses go on the field with the holy water. Tortilla says, I heard Cleveland is retiring his number 100th losing quarterback. Well, Deion gets there, I'm sure they will. And I think Finch is so sold on the fact that Deion will be the coach up there, the coach's boy. He'll have Shedeur's number in those rafters before you know it. Just like he did in Colorado with those 6-6 seasons. It was something to see. Got to be honest. Let's move on here. Oh, boy. All right, right here. Right there. Okay. Spice Creation says, I'm talking about the guys that had losing seasons. Somber said Loudermilk returned to practice today, still on IR. Somber says, not a needle mover, just for your information. I'm not sure what that one was referring to. TCO G69 says some teams are a quarterback away from getting hurt, and then the season is done. You're right. Look at Joe Burrow. Look at Joe Burrow. That team is a Joe Burrow injury away from being a disaster, but a healthy Joe Burrow away from being a contender. They truly are. They have nothing on defense. They have very little on the offensive line. But when he's healthy, they win football games. And, no. Tyrone says, any news on Elliott? No. I was looking into that a little bit more last night. I did not see any more news on Elliott. He's saying there's a possibility, but nothing officially. Tortilla, JPJ got a daddy in the NFL. Exactly. And that's why I love the idea of JPJ. Is he going to be as good as his dad? I don't know. Did I think he was going to be? I don't know. But in Pittsburgh, the bloodline, it's a thing. We got both Haywards, don't we? We had a couple of Watts for a while. So again, it's in Pittsburgh, the bloodline, it's a thing. It really is. So JPJ Daddy Shedeur just gets an excuse for everything that goes wrong. His fans are convinced it's never his fault or anything. Corey says, if we win the Super Bowl, then the Penguins are winning the Stanley Cup. I'm just wondering which one of these teams could advance in the playoffs first. Can the Steelers, the Penguins, maybe the Pirates that are improved this year? One of these teams got to get out of the first round. I hope it starts this weekend. Mark Malone says Shedeur will suck. TCO's G69 says some of these teams play in soft. With all that said, we can peel back all those layers if we wanted to, but we got the Browns and the Bengals. And I made the point yesterday, New England. I mean, these people do say we have a weak division. Well, look at all those New England years with the dynasty. They had the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills who were bad forever. So, divisions are divisions. You got to compete with what you have. There's not much you can do. Be what it be. Some people are in the NFC South, it's an easy division. Some people are in the AFC South, it's an easy division. And some people might say that again, having the Browns and the Bengals and even this Ravens team was not that strong of a division this year. So again, that's a topic that I don't disagree with you, but I think you got to peel back the layers on it to truly get to what is being said and what is being meant. I'm sorry, when people talk about that. End of day says we need more holy water. I'll take any advantage I can get. Can anybody call them penguin or the pigeons? Remember we had the pigeons a couple years back. Let's give them a call too. TCOG69 says Dion is a bad fit for the Browns. And the fact that he's getting mad money out in Colorado, I don't see that that's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, he's getting paid a good amount of money. And if Dion's reading the writing on the wall like everybody else is, chances are Shador's probably going to end up somewhere else one day. So again, I don't see that jump. But Finch likes the idea of Dion being the new head coach up in the Mistake by the Lake. He had a throne. There was a throne on set at the draft. Shador Sanders literally had a throne. It was off on the left-hand side. On our right-hand side watching, there was a constructed throne for Shador Sanders. When he got drafted in the first 5, he was to walk out and sit on his throne. I kid you not. It's all somewhere in Google. You could Google any of it. Let's move on to Tyrone. JPJ will earn his stripes. Tortilla says Shador had a whole throne room. That's what it was. It was like a throne room. Right. That's what it was. He had a whole throne room set up for the draft, and then it didn't even show up because, again, he didn't even go on day one. Those kind of things will be frowned upon. I don't care who you are. It's just, a lot of people work hard to get to, and they're humble. So I just think that rubs people the wrong way. Armax says, I like Dion, but don't want him coaching them. I hated Dion when he played. I love Dion now. I think he's a good guy. I think, come on. The guy loves the league. He loves football. I got to respect that. Lindsay said that's because his daddy doesn't baby him, Tyrone. Bingo says he was average and entitled in college. Now he's below average and entitled. End of day says Joe Burrow will never win a. You know what, though? I mean, first couple years, he takes them Bengals to the Super Bowl. I agree he's not going to win it in Cincinnati. And he's got to stay healthy to win it elsewhere. So, again, that's a good point. Tyrone says facts. Lindsay turned tough on him for real. Let's go up to Tyrone here. He says this, how I be with my nephew, simple. All right, guys. Tyrone also says I do, but when it comes down to business, train wrestling, it ain't a baby sport. Right? You're exactly right. This is a multi-billion-dollar business. When you have one guy that gets a throne room, again, I'm not surprised things went the way they did for Shador Sanders. I'm just saying. Call me crazy, but there's thousands of gentlemen that work in that league that on night one he did not. In night one he was there. On night one he expected to be drafted in the top 5. In night one they had a throne room for him, and then he wasn't there when he did get drafted a couple days later. Let me jump right here, though, where it is. But going back to what you're saying, Tyrone, you're 100% right. These guys, there's thousands of guys that if they, I'll get to you in a second. I see. I didn't understand that you were going to go with the whole race topic, but we'll get there, and I'll tell you how dumb you are in just a second. Just give me a moment. So I'm going to start right here with Tortilla, where Tortilla says this. And I agree with them 100%. There's thousands of young men that try to get in this league. And they're all just one injury away. And all these guys are just this far away from losing their dreams. This close. Let's say you're on the practice field. You get drafted. They're this close away from losing everything. Millions of dollars, career, the fame, everything that comes with it. Okay. And then you got a guy whose daddy played in the league, whose daddy brings him across the country to go to a college where he's coaching, whose daddy gets his number retired at that college. He had a 6-6 season. That's why people don't like it. That's why people don't like the throne room. What are you, crazy? One person. Everybody else is working their asses off. That's why. I'm going to get to you in just a moment. Let me continue on before we do that, though. Tortilla, Joe Burrow will win a Super Bowl in 2041 when we sign him. He is the future Steeler quarterback. I could probably, the way things are going, I could agree with you on that. Let's see. Yinzer Joe says, I love Joe Burrow, but he's made of glass, and the Bengals have to realize this and get people to protect him and draft or trade players for formidable defense. And again, that they pay a lot of money out to him. And here's the thing: if he's not getting it done, it's the same as if we pay TJ all this money. Then you don't have money to give everybody else. Are you satisfied? Can TJ Watt can he deliver with the money that he makes, the money that he brings in? Is he going to be able to get it done? Because if he's not, you have to figure out ways to pay everybody else too, and you got to put a competitive team on the field. So again, he's going to have to be put in a good position to where he's not expunging all the money, and other people are going to have to be able to be paid as well. So it's tricky for guys like this. Again, TJ Watt, could he be the reason we're not winning Super Bowls? Again, because of the money that's being required by him. Could be getting other players and other guys and maybe wide receivers and running backs or whatever the case may be. Now, Spice, this is such a stupid thing that you said. And the thing is, it's stupid. It's an opinion. I think it's a stupid opinion, but this is what Lamar, and again, and listen, I've always respected you, Spice, and I still do. I just think this is an awfully dopey opinion. She says, only try to be humble, black players. It's a jealousy. What the fuck are you talking about? What's a jealousy? That's retarded. The guy, listen, I'm going to explain this one more time, and maybe everybody could hear. And I'm not going to tell, listen. Thousands of young men work their ass off from the moment they're 10 years old, and they're an injury away from losing their career. It's a very humbling experience for everybody involved. Coaches, players, families, friends. And every player is one injury away from losing their life, their career, their money, their dreams. This guy whose daddy was his coach, this guy whose daddy coached him in college to a 6-6 record and got his number retired. His daddy, his name is why he is who he is. And he had a throne prepared for him on draft day. Has nothing to do with race. Dopey comment. I can't even describe how dopey that is. And I do respect you, and I still will. But everything I said, I believe, and again, prove me that I'm wrong. You know people that played football probably. I played football. It's a very, very difficult thing to become number one, and you don't get it by daddy telling everybody that your number's retired and you're going to be a top 5 pick. You got to earn that. Everybody, even, hey, guess what, Miss Spice? All the black guys in the league do too. They have to earn it as well. Shedeur Sanders, yes, he's black, but of this conversation, this has nothing to do with his race. This has a lot to do with him being entitled. Tell this to the rest of the thousands of guys that are black that work their asses off to get there and lose their career over an injury. Again, I love you, but what a dumb things to say. Where am I wrong? Let me move on. Let's go right here. Steeler Freak says the Texans are 2-2 in the playoffs. Shedeur, number 1 is what Tater Tot is saying. There you go. So Tater Tot's on your side. Consider the source. It's not a burner account. She again, I like Spice. And again, she brings it, and I love it. And I love the fact that she brings it. But like Lindsay's saying, I'm so sick of this race bullshit. You realize there's a lot of black guys in the league, don't you? But this one over here, God forbid, he doesn't get successful upon his throne arrival. That's called being entitled. That has nothing to do with race. Ask all those other guys in the league who work their asses off that are this far away from losing everything. Those are the people that are humbled, not the guy that daddy gets you a throne. Come on, Miss Spice. I know you're smarter than this. I know you are. I know you are. Let's move on, shall we? Tortilla Browns gave $250 million fully guaranteed to a black quarterback. Did they just give? How many millions did they give to Deshaun Watson? Boy, were they racist. Boy, is the NFL racist. These teams. Jeez, oh man, they don't give black guys millions. They give it to all the white guys, while the black guys make pennies. It's dopey. What a dopey thing. What a dopey thing. Armax says, I think he handled his interviews bad. He was dumb as hell. Oh, well, that's because he said he was black. No, because there's plenty of smart black guys, and there are plenty in that league. And you know what? It's a dumb comment, but his interviews were terrible. He was dumb. A lot of people said he was dumb. His interviews were bad. What account? I must have it blocked. Lindsay says Tyrone, same page. And I swear I'll move on. I just wanted to prove that point because again, it's sickening. The excuses. Just get it done. Don't worry about daddy getting you there. Don't build a throne. Yeah, it's black, but everybody in the fucking league that's black is making millions. Come on. You are smarter than that. And I'm done. I'm not going to go back into that at all. Let's see. And he does. TCOG69 says he needs a lot of work. He's a rookie and he needs tons of work. Steelers. Lindsay loves the Steelers. Armax says I'm clueless. Lindsay says, okay, the guy's got these guys got you got your thing going on as well. And I'm going to try to kind of separate that today because the other day I was like giving all the dirty laundry on the board. And I didn't realize there was things going on. So I'm going to respect that privacy. Where are we at? Yeah. Steeler Freak says the Medium podcast. No, Sanders will pull engagement time with BS discussions. Also, TCOG69 says this has nothing to do with race. I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. The fact that that's even an argument is unbelievable to me. Is a football fan for 45 years in a league that employs so many black people. Greats, coaches. I can't believe that's even an argument. Again, I don't want to keep going on. I don't want to keep going on this because it is so stupid. I keep getting pulled back in. Tortilla said this. Will Howard had the same stats as Shador, won the national championship. Where was his throne? Where was his throne? Where was Will Howard's throne? The guy actually won a national championship. Maybe that's racist. The fact that he didn't have a throne. And the black guy did. How about that? Quit being stupid. That's all I got to say. And now I'm done. Tortilla says if Shador was good, one of the 32 teams wouldn't have passed on him 5 times. Exactly. Max says, why was Cam Ward drafted? Cam Ward was the number 1 draft pick. Please tell me where this is racist. Come on. The number 1 draft pick was a black guy. You nut. Tortilla, exactly. It's a cop-out argument. Lindsay says, I'm sick of the race shit. I really am too. It's just bullshit. It's bullshit. We're trying to enjoy football. Look, even this little retard, even Tater Tard saying it. Come on. Tater Tard says it has nothing to do with race. To be honest, Shador isn't that good. He's a Browns fan. And you're going to tell him? He lives the misery. Let's go right here. Corey says Johnny Football was getting the same negative attention for his. Wasn't he? Wasn't Johnny Manziel getting shit also before being drafted, and it hurt him, and he gets eventually not makes it in the league. Don't let me tell you something. He was a white guy. I don't know if you noticed. I'm just saying. Wake up. Listen. You have to zoom out on things in life, people. Come on, zoom out a little bit. Zoom out. And black quarterbacks, come on, they're winning Super Bowls. Come on. Tortilla Browns treated Baker Mayfield like shit, and he was white, right? Best quarterback they had in 35 years, and they treated him like shit. He's white. So please, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for some kind of rebuttal because again, I acknowledge how foolish this argument is, and I'm willing to put it to bed. I want to put it to rest so we can enjoy the game of football. People, come on. You're better than that. Tyrone says, I ain't even going to say anything. Steeler Freak says Sanders is more media valuable as a topic than he is an NFL player. I agree. Also, Mark Malone says this, they don't really pay the running backs enough money. And these guys making millions and millions of dollars as a career. That's not enough money for any. Come on. Come on, guys. Would that be a step up in your life? If you could catch a football, would that be a step up in your life to get paid that kind of money? Let's move on though. TCOG 69 says when you go to interviews, you have to speak proper English. Somber said, "This is my fault, my bad." LOL. No, you know what? It has to be said. This stuff needs to be talked about because if not, people will go on to continue to believe the bullshit, and they'll believe things like what Spice said, and it's wrong. And people put this stuff on the internet, and people believe it. Armax is my bad. No bad, man. Also, Lindsay, it's a somber. Damn. Somber says, damn, Somber. I'll take the L on that one. Tyrone, damn, Somber. The green screen. Kaepernick 2.0. There you go, Kaepernick. There you go. There's your argument. Colin Kaepernick is your argument, everybody. So do what you want with that. All these other successful people that made it and made a lot of money doing it. Let's not peel back the layers. Let's just look at the topical thing that you're going to see on the internet. Someone's going to say Colin Kaepernick, and you're going to get a majority of a population of people that's going to say, yeah, I see. They're racist. It's dopey, everybody. TCOG69. I remember when Jefferson St. Joe was playing Somber. I brought it up talking about football, though, just to be clear. Lindsay says we know LOL. Also, TCOG69. Joe was better than Shador. He was better than look at his college career. He was Joe Football. You don't get called Joe Football. By the media. Daddy got his number retired in Colorado. 6-6 season was his first year. Just reminding everybody. Tater Manziel, please. I'm trying to forget about him. Let's see. Tortilla, damn, I agree with Tater. What's happening? I know. Why is Tater starting to make sense? Why are Browns fans starting to make sense? Mark Malone says they take a beating. Corey, I'll trade my $50,000 a year to ride the bench for absolutely. Mark Malone, I just think the running back should get paid more like the guy. Why don't they? You're right. It's a skilled position and just as skilled as everybody else. Guys, but we got to get into Steeler talk. I knew the goofy comment was going to get me sidetracked, and I do apologize. We got so much to get into. I have so much to talk about today. Again, I still love Spice. Whether she comes back or not, I don't know. I hope she does. But again, where am I wrong, Spice? If you truly believe that if I'm wrong, I invite you just to tell me where, so I could at least make my life and myself a better person. Let's see what's going on here, guys. The Steelers, very little injuries on our side of things. The Steelers are going into this game with 4 minor injuries, and Cam Hayward, of course, getting his day of rest yesterday. All fully practicing, guys. It was Aaron Rodgers with his broken hand, his arm, if you will. TJ with his lung. Ben Skoranek with his knee, and Chris Kuntz. They were all at practice yesterday. And again, Cam Hayward had his limited practice. He was off. He took his Veterans Day as he does. So we are healthy, guys. We're coming into the playoff game generally healthy, and this is where you want to be. I agree. And I just so I could break it up a little bit, I'm going to continue on. Lindsay, I will get to your point. But let's get into this, guys. Who wants to hear a little bit about what this Houston team is going to bring to the table come Monday night? Now, Houston, this defense, I said it yesterday, it's going to be very, very, very comparable to what we've seen in Cleveland 2 weeks ago when we scored 6 points. So keep that in mind. Yes, we didn't have DK Metcalf. So maybe we have more going for us now. But listen to some of these facts about the Houston Texans defense this year. Houston only hold on, let me go right here. Houston only had 12 turnovers all year. I guess that's not the defense, that's the offense. But they only had 12 turnovers all year, which is only second behind Chicago. Chicago had 11 turnovers, which was the best in the league. The Houston Texans, they've only turned the ball over 12 times, which is number 2. So, if we're hoping maybe this thing could come down to the end of the game and they cause a stupid play, a stupid turnover to win, you don't want to get behind the Houston Texans. You don't want to get behind a team like the Houston Texans. You have to find a way to stay ahead of the sticks. You have to find a way to move them sticks. You have to find a way to stay on that football field because, again, you get behind a team like Houston, and then they start teeing off on you. And that's the problem. You turn one-dimensional. You have to pass the ball. Now, let's say we get behind a Cleveland game 5 years ago. We were down 28-0 at the end of the first quarter. Let's say something similar to that happens Monday. We're down 21-0. It's going to be almost impossible. Again, these late game comebacks, the throwing the ball down the field, it's going to become extremely difficult with the defense like the Houston Texans have. They got two guys that come hard at the quarterback with Anderson and with also Hunter. They got a lot going on this defense, guys. Their turnover giveaway ratio for the season is a plus 17, which is only second as well to Chicago. Chicago's is a plus 22 on the year. Another name, guys, that you might recognize, though, we're hearing the C.J. Strouds, we're hearing the Nico Collins, we're hearing Will Anderson, all the names, you heard them all. Their running back is Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, another familiar name that we shut down ample times in Cincinnati, guys. So I'm just saying, familiar face there, you will recognize that name. Now, their offense, guys, they are 30th in the NFL in the red zone. That's a huge plus. Again, 30th out of 32. Out of 32, the Houston Texans are 30th in the red zone on offense, guys. So that's something that we could play to our advantage, of course. And finally, the last time these two football teams played was on October 1st, 2023. The Houston Texans beat us 30-6. 30-6, guys. So let's humble ourselves. Let's get ready for a tough game and know that it's going to be a tough one. And again, they're going to have to do a handful of things very well just to be able to win this game. I'll get to those things in just a moment. I have a list of them. It's not just one or two things I got to do very well. It's the playoffs. You have to step it up. You got to play next level football. If you don't, you go home. You see it every year. You see teams that just aren't ready to play playoff football, and they go home early every year in that first round. You don't want to see it. You don't want it to be us. But I do want to say this. If you want to have a chance to grab my balls, that's right. You have the opportunity this week, all the way up till halfway through the show on Monday. You can participate in the Grab My Balls playoff giveaway. This football right behind me that I'm giving away from my own personal collection has the autographs of defensive captain Cam Hayward, wide receiver great Antonio Brown, hometown guy Charlie Batch, David DeCastro, big lineman, Cortez Allen, Derek Moy from right here in Western PA, and Ross Patrone. Guys, get in on it. Right below, you might see that dollar symbol. That is the super chat. Click on that $1. That's all it takes is to get in on this. Guys, you could enter as many times as you want, but just $1 can win you the football. Again, right here, you have a chance to grab my balls in this great playoff giveaway. We will be going, keeping it open all the way till the halfway point of Monday's show, but then we will reveal it right here live on the show, transparent as we can, just to make sure there's no funny business. We want to get this ball and get it to whoever rightfully wins it, guys. So get in. You have the rest of today's show and halfway through Monday to get in on this as well. Get in on this amazing giveaway heading into the playoffs. I want to make a real quick point. We had wide receiver issues the past couple seasons. Obviously, we didn't bring in a second wide receiver last year. This year, we pissed around with this Arthur Smith tight ends and blah, blah, blah. And I agree, it worked to an extent. Here we are, 10-7. We're going into the playoffs. Here's one for you guys. Have you noticed we never, ever considered Deontay Johnson? Is that strike anybody odd? That he's a guy that knows the system. Was it that bad of a breakup between the Steelers and again, he went to about 5 different teams since he left here, but couldn't he have been a nice, easy pickup? No, the guy had no hands. There are people that argued me all the time. No, he's good enough. He's good enough. He's a wide receiver and he couldn't catch. He couldn't catch COVID in a Chinese wet market. I mean, come on. This is why this guy is nowhere. But I thought of this. I thought, why at some point wouldn't we look at somebody like him just to fill the position? Well, maybe the additions of MVS and Adam Thielen will get the job done, and maybe we'll go after some legit wide receivers moving forward. But kind of an odd year, kind of a strange year, and just as I said, certainly I don't know who doesn't go after wide receivers. Dante Moncrief vibes. There you go, Corey. Dante Moncrief vibes. Ay. All right, a few more. Let's get into some more things, guys. All right, I'm going to go right here. Let's go with this. I read this. Somebody from down in the Houston area says that the Texans are looking at the Steelers' offense and literally laughing. This is from somebody, a beat writer, I believe, from Houston, from Texas somewhere. They're saying the Texans are looking at the Steelers' offense and laughing. So again, guys, we're pretty optimistic. And I think we all got to kind of step back a little bit and say, you know what, this is going to be a very, very difficult game. Very difficult. Again, the number one defense in the league, guys. Keep that in mind. And some pretty good weapons on the offensive side. I think we can keep the offensive weapons at bay. I do believe that. But finding ways to get that ball in the end zone or through the field goal post, it's going to be the premium guys. We're going to have to figure out how to do it and get those points when we can. Because you're right, Sommer, the Texas offense isn't great. We went through their rankings and everything they did last year, but or from earlier in the season. So again, they're beatable, but a number one defense. Think of what our offense is. Again, I'm just putting that out there. Just letting it resonate a little bit, guys, so we don't get too big-headed going into Monday. Because again, they are 12-5, and they have the number one defense. And again, those are things that can potentially trip you up along the way. Quite a few directions. You know what? I'm going to get back on the board actually before we go any further. We got quite a few different things we could get into, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit behind on the board. I apologize. All right, I think this is where we're at. Lindsay, can someone explain to me why there's so much racism on both sides in sports? And I got to be honest with you, Lindsay, it wasn't like this in the '90s when I grew up. There's a cultural something going on in this country, and it's not good. I don't like it. I don't like it from either side, to be honest with you. But unfortunately, we're caught in the middle of it with football and pro sports. Ginger Joe said, "Is there not a good Browns podcast out there? Browns fans out here listening to the better casts." Well, thank you. We appreciate that, Ginger Joe. Also, TCOG69 says Joe Gilliam was better than Deion Sanders. And again, this argument has so many points, and I could really bury them home, but I don't want to do that today. We're getting ready for the Texans, It's crazy that it even went that direction. I'm going to be honest with you. Bingo. All I said was the guy got a throne. And which is true, mind you. Tastefer says this Browns, the Browns have hundreds of podcasts, bro. Hundreds of them. And apparently none of them are interesting enough. Bingo says if Deion gets the head coaching job in Cleveland, will he continue to sport the poser Valboy hat? Only the important questions. Tyrone says, who knows? Lindsay, let's get back to the Steelers. Tyrone, I couldn't agree with you more. It's super annoying, as Lindsay is saying. Ginger Joe says, you can't pay me enough to listen to a Browns podcast, yet you were here. Says that the Tater Tard. TCOG69 says Houston never played in the cold weather. The weather plays a part. It does, but you know what else? It's only going to be like 28 to 30 degrees. That's not as cold as it. That's not going to be. Yeah, Lindsay's saying right there, 32 degrees. That's doable. I could go outside in a shirt. Here's the thing. I complain about the cold all summer, and I could go out right now with my T-shirt on and be just fine. You know what I mean? It's 32 is tolerable. And they are coming from 80-degree averages down there. But again, I would have liked to seen it in the teens, maybe lower. That way, you're really going to get an advantage when you play a team from Houston, Texas. But again, let's hope that we can get that advantage even at 32 degrees. Again, that's not in the grand scheme of things, not that cold. You see guys playing that pretty easily, actually, nowadays. Tortilla says they got Brown's podcast on Netflix. I think it's like the Cleveland Brown Show or something. Oh yeah, the Cleveland Brown Show. That's right. I'm a spy. Tater Tot says. TC says this. Shroud is not Lamar. No, he's not. But he could throw better than Lamar. I think he's a more cerebral quarterback than Lamar. I think he sees things better. I think he's a bit smarter than Lamar. But you're right. He doesn't have the legs that Lamar has by any means. Somber says this is Tater's offseason. Been his offseason since week 12. Also, spy for the couch. Lindsay says Tyrone crush CJ. They gotta get pressure though. You can't let him sit back here and pick you apart. Cam's got to play out of his mind as he has. Benton's got to play out of his mind. Harmon's got to play out of his mind. Tater said this, Grandpa will be joining me on the couch Tuesday. Don't worry. Well, that Grandpa has won the AFC North after 1 year. Your team hasn't won it since 1987. So we'll wait to see how it plays out instead of taking your advice. TC says this, it won't be high scoring. The weather's going to make it hard. It's not going to be windy. It's not going to be snowy. It's not going to be rainy. That's the thing. My first instinct was we have the advantage. The weather is our advantage, but it's not. There's no elements, no wind. And again, 32. I wish you were right. And that was where my mind went at first. I thought we have that advantage, but I don't know now, guys. I'd like to see ice. I'd like to see snow. I'd like to see wind whipping, but it's not. It's going to be relatively mild, a mild winter January day here in Pittsburgh. TC also says this, no warm team likes playing in the cold. I agree, but again, you got to do what you got to do in sports. But I listen, I like that. And again, I wish it was going to be a lot worse for them to come here, but we'll see. RMAC says if someone burns a bridge, they won't let them back. Also, Lindsay says it's cold. It's not cold right now. It's actually not. You go outside in the t-shirt, you'll be fine. If you go out on your porch right now in Pittsburgh in your t-shirt, you're fine. RMAC says, I guarantee A.B. will not be retired with the Steelers unless he apologizes and changes his ways. Mark Malone, yeah, I think the weather is supposed to be nice. I don't want no nice weather, That don't play to our advantage. January nice weather is not what we want. Don't take Moncrief vibes. Corey says, Tortilla Browns could have every team's playbook and still go 3-14. Basically. They're consistently 3-14 the way that we're consistently 500. Sommer Caden McDonald declared for the draft, Ohio State defensive tackle. TC says Steelers don't need locker room distractions. They do not. I don't. Tyrone says, Lindsay, what's the weather for Monday? I do believe it's right around. Okay, Lindsay does right around 36, guys. 4 degrees over freezing. Again, not. I wish it was going to be worse. Tater says this, take Jerry Jeudy. He sucks. We don't want him. I don't want that clown. Somber says the Steelers are doing the same. Somber Texans offense isn't great. Actually, 32, Lindsay says it's not bad. Mark Malone, TC, you laugh until you get smacked in the mouth. Also, Mark Malone, hopefully the wind will be decent. And no wind. It's literally going to be mild as can be. Tyrone, okay, hope it gets in the 20s. Tyrone says, take one for the team. Always do, Lindsay says. Houston just got lucky, TC is saying. Weather's going to be in the mid-20s. At night, it's going to get down to the mid-20s. You're right, but the average during the day into the hours is going to be in the 30s. So even when it does get in the 20s, that's not really, really cold. I'm not sure where you're coming from, TC, but if you are here, I think you understand what Pittsburgh weather is and does. Yinzer Joseph, Steelers will win. Texans can't run the ball and rely on sporadic big play passing. Don't bite on the play action. Cover. We'll get the pressure. We'll be okay. Lindsay says 8. It's going to be 32. Tyrone, we're going to win this game. Jamal, I'm sorry, not Jamal, but Corey. Corey says, I have a porcelain throne at home. Well, maybe, is it white? But maybe you might be racist if your porcelain throne is white. I don't know. According to some people, it might come out that way. I don't know. Tortilla says, you think there will be more Browns quarterbacks and Browns podcasters? Absolutely. The thing about it, the podcasters, they actually choose to be a Browns part of the with the Browns, which blows my mind. The quarterbacks, they go there by a lot of time by chance and draft and things like this. Let's see. Steeler Freak says, I don't underestimate the Stroud choke factor. Somber says Stroud played Ohio State. I doubt the cold. That's what I'm saying. The weather isn't scaring me. It wouldn't be scaring me if I was Houston. Again, he did very well in Ohio State at his time there. CJ Stroud, of course. It's supposed to go down into the 20s. That's what TC is saying. Tyrone, it ain't going to be that cold for that anyway. We just got to be ready to play. That's it. Johnny says DK will have his way. I do want to say welcome back to the Terrible Word. Johnny, great to have you on the show. Nice seeing you heading into wild card weekend. Ty says this, offensive line, defensive line. We got to win in the trenches. That's big. You're starting to nail it, Tyrone. These are the things that needs to happen. We need to win in the trenches. Of course, their defense is very, very, very strong. And again, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, They bring it. Even without blitzing, they bring it, like, constantly. Like, they're back there, and they're tough. It's a tough pair. They're number one for a reason. Tyrone says Nico Collins won't have more than 50 yards. That's a good start. Shutting down Nico, keeping CJ at bay, Joe Mixon. Come on. I mean, the offense isn't scary by any means. The defense is brutal. Steeler Freak says, bring in the snow machines. Do what it takes. Come on, Steelers. TC says Aaron is a dog. He can read defenses. Also, Vegas says, wow, what's good, everybody? Nice seeing you, Vegas, on the terrible board. And as far as Vegas, as far as they are reading the defenses, and we played Cleveland 2 weeks ago. We only scored 6 points. And yes, DK was a factor. But again, when a defense is good, It's hard to compete. Vegas in the house. TC says, remember, it's good to have a veteran behind center. Absolutely. I love the fact that we have a veteran who could read under center. Tyrone, 2490. Porter Watt, it looks like he's saying, just learning. What's up, man? I heard the Houston offense is not that. They're not that good. Sommer said we used to get home with 4 like the Texans. I miss those days. 90-24, of course. TJ Watt, JPJ, Lindsay is saying on the terrible board. Let's look at some more things going on here. Patrick Queen is not taking any chances this year. Last year, went to the playoffs. He ate some food in Baltimore that made him sick. I don't know if you guys remember. Patrick Queen is taking no chances. He said he's sticking with mom's cooking, guys, after the 2024 food poisoning incident in Baltimore. So we do have that going for us. We're not in an away city eating foreign foods and things like that. Patrick Queen is certainly keeping that in the forefront of his thoughts, getting ready for this game as well. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they can make up to the city of Pittsburgh can make up to $30 million in revenue from this playoff game. So this is big, guys. So people say, well, I don't want them to make the playoffs. Businesses in Pittsburgh, they need it. You know what I mean? I don't want to make the playoffs for this reason. I know that. We want to get this draft, which is it's things that you do go by. But again, the city's up to make about $30 million, up to $30 million from this one particular game. So, guys, it's here. It's Monday. It's Monday Night Football, 8:15. Steelers, Texans. It's going down. Loser goes home. Winner goes on. Let's see. What else do we got? D'Amico Ryans, the head coach of the Houston Texans, says this: we're ready to go anytime, anywhere, any place, any weather. And he's referring to Pittsburgh, the crowd, the cold, Monday Night Football. They're confident, so we got to be confident too, guys. They're coming up here, and they're ready to play their game. And again, with that number one defense, it could be a tough day for the Steelers. I just got to keep saying, think about the Browns. Houston is better than the Browns. I just want to put that out there. Houston is 12-5. What the Browns have, like 2 wins, whatever it was. So just again, we got to keep level here. We have to keep level here. Let's see what else we can get into though. But that was said by D'Amico Ryans. He's saying we're ready to go. It doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter the weather. It doesn't matter where. So all those things aside, guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers have to get ready. And these are what they have to do to get ready. Some of the things that they need to do. Let me start with you here. Discipline. Yeah, even the white guys, Spice Creation, even the white guys. Discipline. They have to be disciplined. No stupidness, no going after a guy and hauling him off on him after the play. No, it's got to be smart football. It's playoffs. Again, football in January is different than football in September, October. Discipline. No stupid penalties. The fundamentals. Do those things right. Again, you gotta shed the dumb stuff. The penalties. Another key. The mentality. The Jekyll and Hyde factor of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jekyll and Hyde factor, getting ready for this game and having your head in this game. I want to see Cam playing the way that he played last week. I want to see Aaron Rodgers the way he played last week. I want to see everybody play the way they did last week with that mindset that they went into that football game with. They need to bring that. Say what you will. This Houston team, 12-5, number one defense. Again, those mean something. Also, what else do we have to have go down? Don't become predictable, which is a big problem if you get behind, because now I have to pass all the time and figure out a way to get the ball down the field through the air. Don't become predictable. That's a big part of this as well. That defense will eat you alive if you become predictable, and that's one thing we don't want. Another key that I do have, winning in the trenches, offense and defensive line. That's huge. The offensive line, we're going to see what they're made of this week. If we win, I'm going to feel really good. I'm going to feel really good to bring I'm going to feel really good if this offensive line pulls it together against this defense and we win. It'll make you feel really good about this offensive line. Winning in the trenches. Time of possession, keeping them off the field. Again, their offense ain't great, but we got to continue to be able to stay on the field. Move the ball, move the chains. That's very important. See, these are all fundamental things that, again, the Steelers tend to do from week to week, and they kind of flub up, and they kind of cost us from time to time. A lot of fundamentals has to be preached on this Steeler team going in, guys. Just got to play smart. You're professionals. You get paid a lot of money to do what you do, you know? Come on. And finally, my last my last thing that the Steelers have to do is this. It's all hands on deck. If everybody that's involved doesn't bring it, you might not win, guys. It has to come down to special teams, making your field goals, placing your punts, coverage, no stupid plays. Continue to keep the ball on the field on offense. Don't let again, Cleveland was up for 28-0 on us in the first quarter. We can't allow that to happen under any circumstances if we want to win this football game. A lot of fundamental things, I think, are how this Pittsburgh Steelers team are going to get done. As I said, and again, most important, all hands on deck. That means your quarterback, your running back, your offensive coordinator, your special teams coach, your Haywards, your DBs, everybody got to bring it. If they don't, you're not giving yourself the best opportunity to win. And again, this team did win 12 games this year, guys, and they do have the number one defense. We got to bring it. That's the number one word, Miss Pittsburgh, discipline. I couldn't agree with you more. In football, discipline is such an important word. And this is what you work on in day one in camp. Day one, here we are, the latest possible day. So we're both ends of the spectrum here, guys. They got to bring it. They got to be disciplined. And I think this football team can win. I do. I think this team can win, but a lot of different small things have to happen in between now and then. They got to go out and win this football game. But I'm predicting that they do win this one. Let me get back on the board. I don't want to get too far behind. I think that I could pretty much get back in it right here. Somber says, yeah, that motherfucker better meal prep. Talking about Patrick Queen getting sick. Somber Ryan loves Van Jefferson. Let's do move here. Tortilla says 90-24-11 is like a Star Trek date. Also, Mark Malone, I wonder if Queen will be eating soul food, though. TCO says this. Browns have was a trap. It certainly was a trap game. But, again, very comparable as far as defenses go. And 6 points is what we scored against Cleveland. Lindsay says he probably doesn't, but I'll cook from there. You go, Lindsay. We need Lindsay to cook the team. Certainly, at least Patrick Queen his meal for the game. I have no doubt that will bring victory. Armax says Cam is my favorite defensive player. You know what? And if he brings it, he could be one of the best. They constantly tell us he's one of the best. That play last week, how he came out and played, that is how you are considered one of the best. You got to continue to play like he did last week. At his age, it's not an easy thing to do, and I know that because things just tend to get more difficult as you grow older. Can't imagine it would be any different in the NFL. Mark Malone, you could get away with that when you're young. TC says this, it makes no sense to bring race into the environment like this. Don't care about race. I was never raised to be. And same here. I couldn't agree with you more, TC. Skiller Freak says this, the Texans will take it in any hole. Also, Tyrone says, what's everyone's defensive player? What's everyone defense player and offensive player? Throw it up there on the board, if you will. Also, Yinzer Joe says Texans rank 18th in offense. We beat the Ravens 16th, Colts 9th, and the Lions 5th, and Patriots 6th or 3rd. I'm sorry. It's not the offense that scares me. See, when it comes down to it, pound for pound, I think the offense, if you keep this game close enough, low scoring enough, and ugly enough, we'll outperform their offense. We can. We certainly can. Again, got to keep pounding home. The defense is number one in the league. One. That's a big thing. Of course. Tortilla says I don't miss leg day, thigh day, or wing day. RMAX is Cam and Rod. I think that's a pretty safe way to go. Also, Watt and DK. Lindsay says also safe. JPJ Warren. I think can you go wrong with any of these combos? Miss Pittsburgh says we got to get out there and kick some ass. Here we go, Steelers. I couldn't agree more. Tortilla says Peyton Wilson. Bingo says no waiting on the guy beside you to make a play. You're right. And those inside linebackers. This is for you. Attention to you. Sometimes when those two guys are right there, I don't know who's going to step up first, but they both been doing better. But you're right on that. Miss Pittsburgh says that's the number one word. It's discipline. I couldn't agree more. Armax says Rod has been one of my favorite players for a while, hence why I was happy to see us sign him. TC says shut down the run. You have to pass. And you know what? That's one of the most difficult defenses to pass against, but I couldn't agree more. You've got to take shots down the field. You got to be able to, you got to keep these guys on their heels. If they come downhill with you, if the Texans come downhill with us on defense all day, it's going to be a long day. We have to be able to keep the Texans on their heels to some degree. Again, becoming predictable is a recipe for a loss. Again, this is the playoffs. It's step-up time. Everybody's going to step up. So you can't become predictable. You can't become predictable. You just can't. And again, you get behind early. That's what makes that happen. So avoiding all that. And again, we'll get into great detail on Monday as we do get ready for game day into what it is going to take. We'll get into overs and unders, then we'll get into key plays, keys to winning the game, all kind of things on Monday as we do get ready for the big game on Monday night. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but AI, they already told us who won. Did anybody see the AI? They if you go over to there, and again, you could ask it 10 times and it's going to tell you 10 different things. But I did pull up the other day. If I could just find it real quick here, I'd like to read it to you. But this is what somebody asked AI: who's going to win? Who's going to win this game on Monday night? And again, I hope that I can find it within enough time here where it doesn't take me forever. Here it is. Somebody asked AI, will the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Houston Texans on Monday night? This is what AI says. AI says, yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Houston Texans 27-23 in an AFC wildcard game on Monday night, January 12th, 2026 at Acrisure Stadium with Aaron Rodgers leading a late game-winning drive for the Steelers. So there you go. Is it AI being crazy? Is it AI telling us the future? I do what you want with that, but AI says that we beat the Houston Texans 27-23 as Aaron Rodgers hits a game-winning, let's see, Rodgers threw a game-winning touchdown pass with under a minute left. So there you go, guys. Do what you want with that. AI is AI. So get a couple more here. TC says this Steelers will be okay. Just need to play sound football. No, Steeler Freak says no Steelers collapse in the first quarter. That's it. The first quarter collapse we have to avoid. And if we're not going to score points, don't let them score any points in the first quarter. That's a big difference. We get behind so bad so early in the playoffs. Yeah, come out hot, Steel Freak. Absolutely. Rodgers is excited. Lindsay says Rodgers is excited. He'll be good. TC says this. You have a great podcast, brother. Keep going. We appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Truly do. RMAX says I'll bet money the first play will be a deep pass to DK. And you know what? They probably are too. That's what's, when you got a good defense, again, you look at things a little differently. Maybe we shouldn't go on the very first play. Maybe go deep on the second play. Again, you got to kind of keep these guys off balance when you've got a good defense. That's we've had great defenses before. You know what I mean? So you tend to try to look at it back from how we would look at it when our defenses were always good. And again, I think maybe throwing it downfield on the first play it could be playing into what they're expecting. So maybe second, I don't know, play action, something. You got to keep these guys on their heels. You got to. No, there's no other way around it. Somber says Gainwell and Harmon are his two favorite. Yinzer Joe says DK and Herbig. Derpy 501. What the hell is this our Derpy? I don't know what's going on with this. Derpy 501 ST2 RTD2 whatever. He says the way the Penguins are playing, I believe the Steelers will win in the game on Monday. That has to be our Derpy because that makes no sense. The Penguins are playing good, so he's saying the Steelers will win. TC says this: some of the people were not born when the Steelers were terrible. LOL. I lived through. Absolutely. You're right, man. Life after Ben was never going to be easy. I've always said that. Vegas says Roman Wilson total catches over under 5-0. I'm going to say Roman Wilson has 0 catches on that, Vegas, because again, for whatever reason, he got I don't know. I don't know what the hell happened. He seemed to be doing well when I seen him play, and second year in, he'll be in his third year next year, guys. Lindsay said Steelers are winning. Somber says I was here for before Big Ben. Exactly. Steeler Freak says the Steelers are due for a first quarter scoring explosion. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great if we went out there and just started scoring? Wouldn't that be fantastic? Somber says, I know the pain. Armax says, I was here back in the Bradshaw days. The later Bradshaw days or the prime. Tyrone says, yeah, respect the old heads. They seen it, man. Tortilla, artificial intelligence. I like it. Cody, I'm sorry, Corey. Corey says this. Well, if the NFL is rigged like I suspect it is, that means there's a script, which means there's access to, which also means AI can find a way to pull from the cloud. Interesting thought. TC said the Steelers were terrible before Noel, and look how many years it took. Like 50, like 40 from 1933 to 1972, basically. So about 40 years, man. There's definitely some people that seen it a lot harder, a lot worse than we did. Armax says, I don't get that, but I know they want to get DK involved from the outset for sure. TC says, but people in Pittsburgh were spoiled. We went years before we went. Absolutely. 30, so 40 years. Mark Malone hit DK or Calvin Austin on a slant. Yeah, well, come on. Some of these slants might be nice. So, we got to bring it all hands on deck. Miss Pittsburgh says, hell yeah, let's go. I love it. Miss Pittsburgh says, here we go, Steelers, here we go. Mark Malone says the last couple of years of Ben weren't easy. They sure weren't, but it gave you a look into the future, didn't it? You didn't have top prime Ben. It was Ben with a lot of injuries he was dealing with at that point in his life. He's sore. He was ready to retire, and it certainly wasn't like it was in his prime. TC says, I remember the Steelers when they were the Steelers. A little older than I thought that you were, but yes, I certainly remember them as well. Mark Malone says life after Haley has basically been hell. Todd Haley, yeah, I agree. Todd Haley was a good offensive coordinator. Sorry. Tortilla says we didn't give Roman a helmet, so he sabotaged Rogers' helmet. Steeler Freak says I haven't felt spoiled since 2009 when the Penguins and the Steelers both won the championships that year. I was feeling pretty damn spoiled that year. Mark Malone says this. He says this year's offense has been pretty good at times. Is that because we're coming off a win? Let me ask you that, guys. Are you really? Are you really almost 70, TC? That's pretty awesome, man. I was being facetious at first, but if you are almost 70, that is pretty awesome. Welcome. But as you're saying, Mark, and as I was saying, is it because we just came off a win? Let's just say we came out of a game where we didn't play very well. Are we still feeling so optimistic about our offense? You know what I mean? I'm kind of concerned this is where people are going. It's we finished up strong. We beat Baltimore in a huge game, and so again, I hope you're right. I hope that they can come out and play well. Lindsay said, as long as the NFL is rigged for the Steelers, I'm good. Hey, yes, absolutely. If it's rigged and it's rigged in our favor, we'll take it. Let me get back to some more topics here, guys. This is where we be. I can't believe it's almost 2 hours already into the show. I cannot believe it. This time flies. It always flies when you're having fun. I do believe we have some other topics we're going to get into here before we do get ready to start wrapping things up. I would call this the rounding third episode, or the rounding third time of the show. Let me ask you this before I do. Just a topical, but this is between Tortilla and Bingo and Tyrone and Steeler Freak and Miss Pittsburgh and Lindsay and everybody on the board. What's your opinion? Will the Steelers turn the corner this weekend? Or will it just be another playoff bust? I think that's the big question we all want to know. I think, again, this is going to decide if this is a successful season or not. What do you think, guys? Everybody on the board, let me know if you will. Do you think that we're going to turn the corner this Monday? Or do you think that this is just going to be another bust and we'll be back and try to do it again in 27, which will be 10 years again since we won a playoff game? Ty says he feels like it's a different year. Lindsay says we'll win. Momentum is real in football. Let me know what you think, guys. Do you feel that we could legit turn the corner? Or do you think that this is just going to be and don't be afraid to be honest. If you see things and you look into things deeper and you think you understand put it up there. And that's what it's about, guys. Throw it up there if you throw your thoughts up. I want to know what the Yinzers' thoughts are. I want to know what Steeler Nation's thoughts are. Of course, we would love to win. Of course, that's how you probably picture things going. But dig deep inside. Do you guys think that this is we're turning the corner? Or we're going to be heading into our 10th year? It'll be just another bust. Let me know on the board. I'm fully curious in what everybody has to say. Tortilla says we got priests blessing the field. We got disciples in the chat. Tyrone says, like I said, we're 7 seed versus 2 seed. I said usually we're 7 seed. Gotcha. Versus 2, 3. We're 4 versus 5 at home. And again, I agree. 4 versus 5. That's right in the meaty section of the conference. So right there in the middle. They're not much better. We're not much better. We're not much worse, vice versa. So, maybe that could be a good reason as well. TC says this. He says, I think the Steelers are going to win. Remember, we didn't have a good quarterback after Ben. That's true. Corey says, like I said, if Tomlin breaks this 10-year drought, I'll be happy and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But if we lose again, I want Tomlin gone before we get a rookie. I think that's sensible. I think that's an intelligent answer. Come on, right? TC says this. Now we have Aaron. It gives us a chance. Corey also says Lindsay momentum matters, but Houston is due for a loss. And you're right. They're coming in with a 9-game winning streak. Houston is, guys. Keep that in mind as well. Mark Malone says this corner is being turned. Bingo says rooting for them, but expecting more of the same until they prove me wrong. That's kind of where we're at. You got to prove us wrong, because here's the thing: if you don't, it's just going to continue on. It's going to continue doing the same thing, the same way that it has been. So again, throw it up there, guys. TC says this. Remember, if Tomlin leaves and they don't win, who are you going to blame? Hopefully, the head coach. And the thing is, yes, he's a scapegoat. No two ways about it. But, also you got to be honest and look at the reasoning. And are we stale? Has this team become stale? Has this team late Chuck Noll stage? It just got stale. It didn't keep up with the rest of the league. We were successful at one point with this, everything that we have. And do we get left behind in this league? As it can happen again. If everybody else is being innovative, young, changing the game, and we're still, you don't want to get left behind. You could get stale again. Even somebody as great as Chuck Noll got stale, and his team stunk for years at the end of his career. So again, we'll look at all that. I don't want to have that conversation. I don't want to continue to have Tomlin conversations, but they will continue if we lose. What are we going to do? Talk about what? Come on. That's what it's all about, guys. Let's see what else we got here. Do you think the offense is going to look anything like it looked in the and that's another problem I have, guys. A lot of people are talking about, we're going to be able to move and do things against this defense. What if it gets to the point, guys, where it's not, and we get back to how we looked at certain points during the season? How do we win? What does this team have to do to counter what it is that Houston can do to us? In other words, we're going to do what we do. They're going to do what they do, but we're eventually going to have to be able to do a little bit more to win the football game, of course. What do we do at that point? Can the Steelers, can they go outside of their box? Can they figure out ways? Can we outcoach D'Amico Ryans? I don't know. I don't know. You would like to think with the staff that we got, plenty of years under their belt. But again, how do you counter what they do very well? I think a lot goes into this game, guys. It's going to be I cannot wait. I got to be honest with you again. The wild card starting tomorrow. 2 games tomorrow, 3 games Sunday. Of course, our game Monday night. So much NFL wild card playoff action. It's unbelievable. And of course, we do have more college football playoffs tonight. So much going on in this country with our football. I love it. This is the time. This is the time. This is the time to be alive. If you are a football fan, um, can't allow quick points. We cannot allow quick points. Slow the game down and make them come to our level. That's my last bit of advice that we need to do. Those things right there. We can't allow quick points, as was said on the board by John. You can't let them get up on you big in the first quarter. You put yourself in a position to become one-dimensional. They can now tee off on you. That gives them the advantage, tilts the table in their favor. Don't let up a lot of quick points. And again, with this offense that Houston has, I think that this is a very possible game plan for the Steelers. Don't let them score a lot of points early. Second part of that is slow the game down. Slow it down. Make them come to our level. And again, it's just going to have to be an AFC North kind of game because that's the game that we have. Low scoring, close, and ugly. And this is a lot of the times how the Pittsburgh Steelers win in these points off of turnovers. But again, as I did say, Somber, they are second in point turnover differential this year, only behind the Chicago Bears. They don't turn the ball over often. So if we're waiting around on that, we're going to have to go out and get it done on offense, basically, and hope that those things happen. But again, don't depend on a big turnover for this game. They protect the ball just as good as anybody else in the league, certainly only behind Chicago. So that is a big thing to also keep in mind. And ultimately, everything is magnified in the playoffs. Everything, every mistake, it's magnified in the playoffs. So again, we did talk about a lot of different things that need to be done. We'll bring it all together. We'll huddle it all together Monday for the show. Today was kind of a weird day going into a playoff weekend, but not really have to get into what our Steelers got to do before we're able to talk again. So again, a lot of different things thrown out, a lot of things on the board, greatly appreciated. Stopping short fields as Somber. I mean, Somber's hitting it right on the head here on the board right now. But we'll get into all that Monday, and we'll try to figure out what the hell it is we're going to have to do that night. And again, don't forget to get in on this giveaway, guys. This is the Grab My Balls playoff giveaway. That's right. You have all the way up until the halftime show, the halfway point on Monday's show to get in on this giveaway, guys. This football right here has the autographs of defensive captain Cam Hayward, the great Antonio Brown, Charlie Batch, David DeCastro, Cortez Allen, Derek Moy, and Ross Vitrone. Right here, there's football behind me. I want to give it away. That's what I'm going to do. I'm giving it away to somebody that supports this show. I'm happy to do so, guys. All you have to do, just right below where you see that $1, just $1 is an entry. You can do it as many times as you want for as many entries as you want. But just click on that to enter, guys, and we will draw that the second half of Monday's show on game day as we're getting ready for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Houston Texans showdown Monday night to see who moves on in the second round. We're due. We're due. They're 9-0 in the last 9 games. They're kind of due to lose as well. We're kind of due for a win. A lot of things kind of going, but you know what? They still have to go out on that football field and get it done and execute and make it happen. So we'll be ready for that and all that kind of stuff on Monday. What else? What else, everybody? Throw some things up on the board as well. If you have any questions or comments or anything that you want to be addressed by the time we do wrap up today, I'm going to hit a couple more comments and we are going to get into the trivia part of the show as we do every day. Skiller Freak. I'm going to go right here. Right here. All right, corner being turned. I think quarter being turned by Mark Malone. Bingo says, okay, I did get a little bit past this one. Miss Pittsburgh, thank you so much. I'm just past this. I do believe. Tortilla says, if Tomlin leaves, we won't ever lose another game ever. Miss Pittsburgh says, no, I don't think so. I think we're going to win this one. All right, guys, it's right into this. Do you think that we're going to turn the corner part of the board? Also, Lindsay says, agree. They don't drink. Also, Miss Pittsburgh says, I'm sorry, Tyrone. Mark Malone, stop. I see what's going on there. Corey says at TC, if Tomlin leaves, it's because he lost. LOL. What do you mean? Head coaches lose games. It is what it is. But Tomlin needs to be held accountable if he can't. Eventually, right? Eventually, I think that come on, I think anybody with an ounce of common sense will say that we're if you don't get it done eventually, you gotta go elsewhere. Has nothing to do with anything else. How weird people can be. Tortilla says, "Yeah, once we fire Tallman, and I'm blaming Shador Sanders, maybe Austin." Mark Malone says, "Steeler Freak says the O line and DBs make this a positive season for me. I never expected a trophy." And you know what, John? You've been with us for a couple years. You're one of the OGs. I know exactly where you're coming from. And for you to actually have some faith in what's going on right now, and having this hope, a little bit of hope that we do have. I mean, there's still a lot of people that says it's not going to happen. I don't believe that. But John, enough happened this year to make me think that we could win a playoff game this Monday. I truly do believe that. And again, I know where you're coming from. Corey says if he prepares his team like a head coach should, we will win. Then he deserves the credit. Sure, players have to execute, but you have to give your guys a good game plan to follow. Absolutely. TC says this, always expect the unexpected. The Steelers will win. Lindsay says defense will need to win if the offense sucks, which could be a very big possibility. And I'm not saying because our offense sucks. I'm saying because that defense is so good for Houston. Both sides got to come through those. What Tyrone is saying, bingo. Bingo says if he leaves and they still lose, it's still his fault. Just like I don't give him credit for a win with Coward guys. It'll probably take a couple seasons before I think that everybody can finally get on the same page with that. I agree. Points on turnovers. Tortilla says by the time Mike Tomlin is 80, there will be a Mike Tomlin AI that runs the team. Tyrone Somber Red Zone. And you know what, Ty? They are terrible. Number 30, Texans are number 30 in red zone offense. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. Stopping short field, TC says it doesn't matter who's playing or whose player it is. You have to make do with what you have. Absolutely. We're due. Tyrone is saying this. TC says, imagine being in a city that never won a Super Bowl or a playoff game. Ay. Or a Browns fan. I mean, yes, they won playoff games, surprisingly. But can you imagine? Tortilla says, at Tater. Tyrone says, A-Rod got to be smart, no turnovers. Hasn't thrown a interception in 7 games, which is the longest current streak right now for a starting quarterback. And be nice to get one, Tyrone says. And TC says, are you from Aliquippa? Neighbor, geez, oh man, I didn't know you were from Aliquippa. You should have told me this. TC says, being from Aliquippa, you were expected to win no matter what. Are you from Quip? That's awesome if you are. Like described, Ty, I do appreciate that, everybody. I do also want to say this. Do go check out our website, guys, www.d2dumyinzers.com. That's www.d2dumyinzers.com. Lots of cool things over there. Mike does a lot of work on the website. He does put up his dumb thoughts, the links for every show that we've ever done, contact information. And if you like this sharp logo right here to my left, there's plenty of merchandise over there with that logo on it. You can stop by and check that all out. That's awesome, TC. We're neighbors. We are neighbors. And Lindsay's damn near a neighbor as well. She is a neighbor right up the Parkway. But crazy small world, everybody. Also, I do want to say this as well. Don't forget, the two Dum Yinzers will be down at the North Shore on Monday night. That's right. North Shore, come down and see us. We'll be with the guys and gals from the Duquesne Pilsner Company, the beer company right here in Pittsburgh. They invited us down. We'll be down with them for the tailgate. I'll have more details on what gate and the times on that on Monday. But we'd love to see everybody stop down if you can. Anybody from the show would be fantastic to see you. But that'll be Monday. I'll get more into that on Monday as well. But let's get into the trivia question of the day, guys. How well do you know your opponent? How well do you know your enemy? This is a trivia question about the Houston Texans, guys. Texans, put on your thinking caps. Put on your thinking caps. Put on your thinking caps. Here we go, guys. This is the question of the day. The Steelers and Texans have played 8 times in their history. One team leads the series 5-3. Which team is it? Question of the day. The Steelers and the Texans have played 5 games in their history, or 8 games in their history. I'm sorry. One of them leads the series 5-3. Which one leads the series 5-3? Is it the Steelers or is it the Texans? Guys, Somber saying us. Steelers, Texans, they've played each other 8 times in meaningful games, regular season games. 5-3. The The favor goes to one side, guys. Close. Throw your answers up on the board. Tyrone's saying the Steelers. Tortillas saying Rashad Mendenhall, no less. Tortilla says, oh shit, my fault, Steelers. What do you think, guys? Steelers, Texans, they faced off 8 times since the Texans been around since 2002. One of these teams leads the series 5-3. Who is it? A lot of Steelers guesses on the board. Throw your guesses up, or if you do know it, throw it up there. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30, 2 o'clock p.m. every day, right here on the tube. Steelers, TC's got Steelers. Vegas, as I know, we got blown out by them in Houston after giving up like 55. Yeah, you know what? That game that we were talking about, 30-6. 30-6 was the last time we played Houston. That game was October 2023. More than likely the game that you're talking about. That was a 30-6 finish. Also, somebody brought up that 24-6 finish back when Tommy Maddox, very memorable game. We didn't do anything. I think they scored 2 pick sixes and a scoop and score, as a matter of fact, in a field goal. If I'm not mistaken, you can check me on that. It could be, I think I'm going to be pretty close. But again, Steelers, RMAX says the Steelers. TC says the Steelers. Everybody's leaning toward the Steelers, guys. So we have the series lead, is what you guys are saying. The 8 games played between the Steelers and the Texans. One team has a 5-3 advantage. Everybody said the Steelers so far. Nobody's given the Texans a nod, guys. Here we go one more time, and then we'll get the answers. The answer: the Steelers and Texans have played 8 times. One team has a 5-3 lead. Who is it? Guys, of course, the answer is your Pittsburgh Steelers. They did win it 5 times. Houston won it 3 times. Apparently, the two off the top of my head I can see were both blowouts. Again, this 30-6 game, the one we had last time we played them, and then that 24-6 back in Tommy Maddox's day. But yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers is correct. They did beat Houston 5 times. Houston beat the Steelers 3 times. And let's make it 6, guys. Let's make it 6-3 this weekend. Let me grab a couple more comments before we do start getting ready to wrap things up for today. TC, that's right, man. Shout out to Quip Nation. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I didn't realize that we were neighbors. Let's go right here to Steeler Freak Rogers. Train the O-line. Money for the future. You know what? You're right. That certainly helps. Tortilla says last game I remember against Houston was when Vince Williams laid next to Hopkins. After he caught the touchdown. That's right. Wow. Forgot all about that. TC says this. He says we're on our way to win and move on. I hope you're right, man. Bob Marley, for whatever reason, Steeler Freak says Bob Marley. Tyrone says 6-3 incoming. Somber says that's one rookie quarterback Tomlin didn't beat. Guys, so there you go. Again, wild card tomorrow. The games start tomorrow. The NFL wild card round, 4:30. The Rams at the Panthers. 8 o'clock. The Packers at the Bears. Sunday, Bills at Jacksonville. That's at 1 o'clock. 4:30. The 49ers are in Philadelphia. The 8 o'clock game on Sunday night, guys, is the Chargers at New England. And, of course, Monday Night Football, the Pittsburgh Steelers are hosting the Houston Texans. That's an 8:15 start on Monday night, guys. So I don't think anybody forgot that, but a lot of good football between now and then. Again, college football will be also tonight as Oregon takes on Indiana. It's a 7:30 start tonight. I do think that is everything that I have. I hope I didn't forget anything, guys. Again, we'll join you. We hope everybody joins us on Monday as we'll be back at it to get ready for the game. It's kind of an odd week. Again, the Monday games throw me off because, again, Friday we usually go into the game weekend. But the way that it plays out, we'll be back getting ready for the Texans Monday. So we hope to see everybody back then. A few things before I do check out, man. Thank you, man. I do want to say to Tyrone, he says, good show, man. I do appreciate that. A couple things before I do check out. I do want to say this. If you haven't had the chance, go check out any of our social media, guys. We are all over the internet. Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok. Go hit the follow button to keep up with what the two Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. Also, if you haven't yet, hit the like button down below. Sub, share, comment, whatever you like, do. And it all helps us out in the algorithm. We appreciate it all. And finally, I do want to say this. Thank you to everybody for coming in and hanging out with us this week, checking us out, getting ready for the Houston Texans. Again, the big one will be Monday, guys. We'll get together. We'll do overs, unders, all those things we do on game day. But I do want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out. I want to say thank you, everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. You are the lifeblood of this show. I always say that. And everybody at home, whether you're listening, watching, maybe you're in the car, the gym, work, whatever the case may be, thank you too. You guys all make it worthwhile, guys. Thank you so much. It was another great week, and I do appreciate everybody. Again, Tyrone, I appreciate you, my man. Also, thank you, Miss Pittsburgh, as well. Guys, there won't be no show tomorrow, but Monday we will be back at our regular time, Ty. So we hope to see you then. Everybody, again, I do want to say thank you. And I will catch up on everybody's messages at some point today. I do get to them all eventually. I like to get to them on the air, but if I can't, I will eventually. So with that being said, everybody, enjoy this weekend. Stay safe. Maybe swing by, get yourself a case of Duquesne Pilsner for all the football going down this week, and get ready for the big game, guys. Monday, but a lot going on between now and then. I hope everybody has a safe weekend, a warm weekend. Again, I think it's going to be a little warmer than we want it to be, but we'll get into that and all that so much later as this weekend does wrap up and we get together back on Monday. So again, we'll be back at our regular time. For Derpy, for Finch, for Mike, and myself, and the two Dum Yinzers, everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy the football, man. There's a lot of football for us to enjoy before we put ourselves through everything that we're going to put ourselves through on Monday watching our team, guys. So, guys, have a great weekend. Stay safe. For all of us here, black and yellow. That's right, Tyrone. Have the greatest weekend ever, everybody. I hope to see you back on Monday. For us here at the show, have a great one. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.